Uh, I hope that you guys are having a wonderful start to your day. It's mid morning here in Dallas. Another beautiful day. It's Friday, so I don't know when you guys are watching this, but this upcoming Sunday, I'm going to be doing a free live training where I'm going to teach you how to do three things from your phone to make money when you're not at work so that when you lose your job, not if you lose your job, but when they fire you, you're going to be okay financially. Most people, the 90%, will not be okay because the 90% are the unprepared, the unwilling to change, the unwilling to work, the unwilling to leave their comfort zones, the unwilling to get prepared. You're going to be a part of the 10%. The 10% does not mean you're rich. The 10% means that your mindset is rich. So whenever I talk about changing your life, it all starts in the mind. So if I can get you to change your mindset, I can get you to change your behavior. And if I can get you to change your behavior based on what you believe in your mind, then I can get you to change the outcome of your future. Make sense? By the way, hit subscribe, hit thumbs up. And if this gives you any value, let somebody else know about the channel. I really appreciate others getting to tune in. And as we share some interesting I guess perspectives, and hit subscribe, hit thumbs up. Welcome to the channel again. I'm Shon-Jhon. Not long ago I was homeless, and here I am today living in Dallas, Texas, beautiful Dallas, Texas. Love it, living my best life, love my family, got a great family, got an awesome family, and I can't speak highly enough of them. So but I'm out today, so I'm about to get out and do my exercises. I'm out by the pools today. But I figured before I do, I jump on just to share some insight. And so I want you guys to know that if you are making $100,000 or less, you are teetering on the border of destruction. Reason being is because first things first, $100,000 on a job is not $100,000 in reality. So there's a gross pay, which is $100K, and there's a net pay, which is about $75K. So you don't have the 100, you have the 75. So that's the first thing we got to understand, is that whatever they're paying us on a paycheck, it's not real money, right? The gross, I always say it this way, the gross is toast, the net is what you get. So your gross on your paycheck is a lie. You can never spend it, no one ever has. And it does not go into your bank account. So if your paycheck said for the month $5,000 gross, and then the net was $4,000, how much do you think is going to be in your bank account? The 5,000 gross or the 4,000 net? Exactly, the 4,000 net, because again, the net is what you get. The gross is toast, the net is what you guys get. And there's nothing wrong with having a job, there's nothing wrong with making money. I just want you to understand that you have to think of other ways to go about bringing in income. So I appreciate the thumbs up, guys. Hit the thumbs up if this makes sense to you. By the way, everybody who was in the live training last night, we did have to cut some people off because I only want a certain amount of people in there because I want to do some questions and answers and go over some stuff. But for everybody who enrolled last night, you were blessed. I'm telling you, it's going to be awesome. Look, AJ's just dropped Middleman in the comments. Somebody said hi, just joined. Justin, are you saying you just joined the live or you got into the Middleman Masterclass? I'm not sure, but either way, I appreciate you. Let me know where you guys are watching from. I always like to know. So I was born and raised in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, and met my wife. She's from Mississippi. God bless me with an amazing wife that I don't deserve. And how many know it's a good thing to have a spouse? So don't let society disrupt that. Hey, Toronto's in the building. And I appreciate you guys for watching. I promise I'm not going to keep you long, but I know it's Friday. I know you guys have things to do, but I promise if you watch this video, I'm going to change your life. Hit the thumbs up if you're excited and you're ready to learn. I just joined the live. I'm watching from New Zealand. Wow, New Zealand in the building. So again, guys, really quickly, if you make less than 100K, and by the way, guys, I'm outside in the pool area. I'm right next to the pools. So if you're hearing winds and things like that pass by, just know that I'm outside. So if you're having trouble hearing me or anything like that, just let me know in the comments, and I can move to a better spot. And if the signal drops, because I don't think this is the best area for Wi-Fi, but if it drops, let me know. And so what's up to everybody? Again, hit thumbs up if you agree with some of the things, or if it's giving you value. If you have a comment or something, drop it. But listen to me, 100K. I just want to break it down. So you saw the thumbnail says 100K or less. You are teetering on the border of being totally wiped out financially, and I'll prove it to you. I'm not just making this up. I'll prove it to you. All right, so let's start from the top. And remember, this is all about mindset. When I teach you how to start a middleman business in the free live training that's coming up Sunday night, when I teach you how to do that, I do want you to make money. That's one of the goals, but the main goal is I want you to be free while you make money. So I'm free to do whatever I want to do, and I'm not a millionaire. That's why I tell you guys, you don't have to be a millionaire. If I could just teach you to make 100 grand a year extra, as long as you don't have to go home, as long as you don't have to go to work, you're free, right? So, but let's start at the top. It's all about flipping mindset. I appreciate the thumbs up. Let's jump into it. So, and you guys know, if you watch my videos, you know my favorite F word, and it's not a 4-letter word. We're not going to say that, but my favorite F word is freedom. My favorite F word is freedom, and it's all I think about. And there are 3 freedoms that I focus on, and all right, guys, I had to move a little. I told you the signal might go in and out, so I'll probably move around just a little. For whatever reason, guys, the signal, I don't know. I've never really get good reception underneath that pavilion area. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to the truck. So I'm in the truck today. My wife's in the Tesla, but it's all good. She happy, I'm happy. Somebody said, please send me invites to my email. Drop your email, AJ. If you guys, because I'm looking at this and I want to respond and give you the link for the masterclass. It's going to be Sunday night. So Sunday night from 7 p.m. Texas time, that's Central time. From 7 to about 7:45, I teach you what I do, which is run a middleman business from my phone. And so all I do is I book customers and I take a deposit, which is where I get paid. And then I dispatch the work to the workers, the service providers, and let them do the work while I get paid and go fish or go to the beach or go wherever I want to go. So it's going to be Texas time. It's going to be this Sunday night. So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful holiday weekend, because I know it's Easter Sunday. If you join me at 7 p.m. Texas time, Central time, Sunday night, for about 45 minutes, I'm going to teach you how to run a business from your phone without having to go to work. And then hopefully you do it well enough where you can quit your job in the future before they fire you. So I'm looking on here, and if you guys put middleman in the comments, I want to be able to send you the link. But the crazy thing is, it's not allowing me to message you, and I don't know why. Let's see. I don't know why. So I see someone's putting that. But if you guys do this, whenever this goes off, if you put middleman under the video or under any of the other last videos that I publish, then you'll be able, perfect timing, huh? Here come the leaf blowing, guys. They're going to blow my truck. I'm going to need to wash it. Don't matter. There's car washes everywhere. So, what's your Insta? Can I DM you? Yeah, absolutely. So the hold on a second, guys. Okay, so the DM for me is going to be the middle. You can DM me at Middleman CEO, MIDDLEMAN CEO. You'll see me on Instagram at Middleman CEO. So you can shoot me some info. By the way, if you have a question or comment, drop it real quick while I'm on here, and so we can go through this. But again, you guys are welcome to DM me and follow me on Instagram. If you want to get the invite to the middleman training, that's going to be Sunday night, go ahead and put middleman in the comments. And if I see it, I'll try to give you the link. I'm only letting a certain amount of people in, so after that, we're going to cut people off. Last night, we had too many people. I had to stop some people, so I'm doing one more this Sunday night, and I'm trying to respond on here. I'm not able to, so what I'll just say is, hey, look, just go ahead and put middleman under any of my videos on this channel. like the previous videos from yesterday or the day before. Even this video, when it airs after I finish this, just put Middleman under there. You'll get the invite, and it's you'll see it. So, but let's jump into this, guys, because I don't want to keep you long. But I do want you guys to be in the training because that is important. So the free live training is going to be this Sunday night, 7 p.m. Texas time. So make sure you're there. I've had people come late. Sorry you can't get in. So let's talk about it again. So 100K. So 100K breaks down like this. So the first thing happens, you get the 100K. What happens after that is the government invades your paycheck through the Current Tax Payment Act. So they don't talk about this in school. They don't talk about this in college. Why would they? They want you to go to work, not create a business, not be independent. If you're independent, who's going to take care of you? So over the past, I'll get into that in a second. So 100K breaks down to about 75,000. So the real money is 75,000. Nobody's ever been able to, can I use old link for a new seminar? You probably can. That's a good question. I'm not sure. But just to be safe, AJ, just put Middleman in one of the other videos, or whenever this one finishes and airs, go ahead and put Middleman in the comments. You'll get it. And you guys can follow me on Instagram at Middleman CEO. And so what happens is it breaks down to 75,000. All right, so you lost 25,000 for the government. That's gone. So 75,000 is your gross. I always say your gross is toast. It's not real money. No one has ever deposited their gross into their bank account. It's only the net. The net is what you get. So the net is the real money, goes into your account. So now, even with 75, you're looking at, I appreciate it, you're looking at about, I'm going to do the math in my head. You're looking at about $6,000, a little over $6,000 a month. Now, in my neighborhood where I live, it's a beautiful, awesome neighborhood, right? Now, I grew up poor in the ghettos. Wasn't fun. I don't want my family living like that. So I don't know how you guys feel like that, but I don't want my family living the way I lived. I don't want my kids growing up the way I grew up, right? We were poor. We had no utilities. We went, weeks without utilities sometimes. We had no money. We didn't talk about money. There was lack. We were wearing each other's clothes. There was boys in one room, girls in the other, a 2-bedroom house, if you want to call it a house, more like a shack. My mom, single parent, girls in one room, boys in the other. It was 8 kids and my mom. That's how tough it was. And we didn't have an abundance. We didn't have any money. We didn't have anything. And it was a struggle life all the time. We would run out of food. We were always out of money. And so I don't want my family to live like that. You might be okay with that. I'm not. I don't want my family to live like that. I want my kids to live a good life. So we moved into this awesome neighborhood. I always say, if you guys want to know where I live, 76005 is the zip code. Look it up. It's a beautiful, awesome, amazing neighborhood. In fact, I'm about to go on about a 3-mile walk around the neighborhood because my bike is down. So I got to go fix my bike. And so I can get back on the bike. So, and these are the kind of houses I'll just show you guys. See the house in the background? See that? That's about a $3 million house somebody just built right there on the corner. And we need to make it better for the up and coming future. You're right, man. Absolutely. So 100K sounds like a lot of money. And just a few years ago, like 2020, it was a lot of money and you were safe. But it's not safety anymore. It's very, very risky because it actually breaks down to 75. So there's your 75. Then that's about $6,000 a month. If you want to live in a house like the one I just showed you, you don't make enough money. If you want to rent a house like that, you don't make enough money. So the average house price in this neighborhood, I think is about $550. The average rent in this neighborhood, I want to say, for the really good homes, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and just a nice place where you're like, I like coming home to this. Not the kind of place where like, it'll do for now. Not that. You don't want to live that kind of life. You want to, and if you have to right now, I do understand that, but I'm just saying when you're able to, you don't want to live that way. You want to be like, I like this place. It's pretty damn nice. The average rent in the neighborhood for a really nice place is about $3,500, right? So $3,500 if you're making $6,000 a month. That's almost half of your income. Now you're left with $2,500, barely. If you got kids in daycare, we do. We got 2. It's about $3,000 a month just for 2 kids. Now all of a sudden there's no money, right? So if I was making $100,000, which breaks down to 75, and I paid rent and just my kids' daycare, I'll be broke. And so again, if you want to live the life you want to live, you're going to have to put yourself in the best financial position possible. If you think inflation is the only thing coming after you, it's not. Over the past 4 years, just 4 years, I want to say over 20 million. Uh, I think that's what I read. Either 10 or 20 million. Either way, it's a lot. By the way, hit the thumbs up if you guys are tracking. If you're not tracking, you're lacking. Make sure you're tracking, right? So you're not lacking. But if this is giving you any kind of value, the only way I know is you smash thumbs up. And by the way, share the channel, watch as many free videos if you like. And if you want to get the link to the free masterclass training this Sunday night, 7 p.m., for about 45 minutes, I'm going to teach you how to start a business from your phone, make money from your phone. So when your job fires you, and they will, when they fire you, you're going to be able to make money and not have to worry about losing your job. Most people will. I always say you could be the 90%, you could be the 10%. The 10% are prepared, the 90% are unprepared. Which are you? Nobody's stopping you. There's nobody around you fencing you in or saying you can't achieve. It's completely up to you. Now, whatever excuse you want to tell yourself, that's up to you. I don't like excuses. I don't like lying to myself. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to put myself and my family in the best financial position possible, and I'm willing to do anything. Question is, are you? Right? So 100K struggle life. That's probably the line right now. Struggle life. So what do? Well, your job's not gonna. Let's talk about it. So if 100K is a struggle, because the reality is, if you make it on a job, it's not 100K. Think about, what do you make on your job? What do they tell you you make? And what do you really make? See, they told me this and I really got this when it comes to your paycheck. That's called a gross and a net. The gross is toast. It's not true. It's a lie. The net is what you get. That's what gets deposited into your bank account. And then what happens when the money goes into your bank account? Well, everybody else gets paid. In fact, the government got their money so quickly out of your paycheck that before it even got to your bank account, it was already missing money. So now you get what's left, right? Now your money goes into your bank account, your savings account. The banks used to, this is gonna get good, y'all. Y'all gotta hit that thumbs up. Let me know this is giving you value. So the banks used to pay this thing called interest, right? Interest was, hey, in order to get Justin to bring his check to me, because people were getting paper checks, the bank said, we need to bribe him. Offer him something. Offer him this thing called interest. Leave your money in the bank account. We'll pay you interest for that money. And then so what did Justin do? He'll bring it to the bank because it was a good thing to put it into a savings account. Yes, the banks were going to use it, but he also made money from it. And then they got you. They got you with this thing called automatic deposit. And so when automatic deposit came out, there was no need to have a paper check, which means there was no longer a need to bribe Justin or bribe AJ to bring their money to the bank, because it would automatically be deposited into the bank. Right? So now the bank has free product. They don't pay AJ or Justin or me anything, or you, anything to put your money in the bank. The automatic deposit makes sure it's going to be there. And so now you got your money in the bank. The bank has the money. The bank looks at you and say, thank you, sir or ma'am. And then the bank takes your money, loans it to Johnny or Mary, who's got good credit and a vision, gives it to them. They take the money, do whatever they have to do, and pay the bank back. So the bank makes 10, 15, 20% interest on your money. What do you get? Nothing. So imagine you have a store where you sell, I don't know, bikes, and there's usually a cost associated with acquiring the bikes. That's the cost that's passed down to the customer, right? So there's a cost for you to get the goods, and then you mark it up, and then you sell it for a retail price to make a profit. Imagine, somebody said, thank you, sucker. Oh, that joke. Yeah, you're right. So imagine if you opened a bike store and someone gave you free bicycles to sell. Now it's 100% profit, because the public is donating pretty much product for you. So the same thing with the banks. When you park your money in the bank, you are essentially donating money to the banks, donating bicycles, and the bank sell the bicycles for as much as they can to make a profit. So the banks get rich while you get poorer. I'm going to say something else that's controversial, and it's probably going to make you feel a certain way, and you might even get mad at me, but that's okay. I'm a big boy, right? That's okay. I don't care if you get a little upset. I just want to put something in your mind that might change the way you think. It might change your future, right? Somebody said, when we link employers with customers, do we get paid every time the customer uses the service, or is it just a one-time payment for the connection? We do get a residual payment for each job. That's a great question. AJ, the way it works is per job. The only way you can get a residual if you do an industry that requires multiple assignments. So like for instance, for me, I have 3 middleman businesses, but I only started with one. So I always tell everybody that's in the Middleman CEO group, please start with one, learn the business. Then when you know it like the back of your hands and it's easy to you can do it in your sleep. All right, now you're ready to start stepping into different industries and then hire. Well, I'm not gonna get into all that, but it's pretty cool. Get you too excited. But think of something like cleaning. I have a cleaning service. So a lot of cleanings are residual. Like the customer might want their home cleaned every month. And so you can make a deposit off that job. So if the deposit is $125, I think that's what the average cleaners are doing right now in the group, about $125. So if the average clean is about $125, that means you'll schedule it every month at that time, and it'll take $125 off the customer's card every month. So if it's the first of the month, $125 every time. The vendor goes out, the ISP goes out, do all of the work, they get paid the balance, you're done. So if it's a reoccurring industry, yes. Other than that, there's no residual because I have a moving service too. If a customer moves, they may not move again for 5 years, right? So, well, there's a lot of moving now because people have to downsize. Somebody said in 2008, banks were lying about loans and created all this mess, 100%. But you know what? The rich got richer. The poor got poorer. Nobody went to prison. The banks were lying. The credit bureaus were falsifying documents. You and I get in trouble for that. You and I write a bad check, we go to prison. The government writes bad checks all the time and they go nowhere. You and I run a Ponzi scheme, we go to prison. The government runs a Ponzi scheme right in front of you and don't go to prison, right? They distract us. They got us watching all this other frivolous stuff while they do the dirty work. I call it the magician and the pretty assistant. So we watch the pretty assistant. You ever seen a ugly pretty assistant? Hell no, because they know you're not going to watch her. They need to distract you with a pretty assistant. The pretty assistant for you right now is go to school. Tell me if I'm lying, because since you were 5 years old, I too, since the time we were 5 years old in kindergarten, the first thing that we remember them asking us is, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? What kind of job you want to have? They never say, what kind of business do you want to own? Never. So they trained you to get a job. Remember, when slavery was going out during the Civil War, there was a transition happening also, because slaves were no longer needed as much. Slaves were labor, uneducated, couldn't read, couldn't do a bunch of things. They were just there to use their hands and bodies and muscles and work. And then the industrial age started happening about the same time. Go look it up. And then they needed new slaves. The old slaves were irrelevant. They needed new slaves to run these machines and these factories. And these slaves had to be educated. They had to be able to read. They had to be able to write. The slaves couldn't read or write. But the new slaves had to be able to read or write. Now, they couldn't handcuff them, but it had to be voluntary. And so what did they do? Well, they infected education. And so from the beginning, they trained you or indoctrinated or programmed you to go to school, get good grades, listen, do your work, listen to what I tell you. Don't think for yourself, think like me. Remember everything I teach you. We're going to pass or fail you based on what you can remember, not on what you know, but what you can remember. That's called a test. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tell you, go off to college and get a degree. Yes, you're going to incur a lot of debt. Don't worry about that. You're going to have a bunch of time to pay it. And then after you do that, you're going to get this thing called a job, which is safe and secure. That's what they told you. That's what they told me.
And so that's the pretty assistant, because you're like, hey, I could go to school, get good grades, get a degree, get a job. And then they say, once I get a job, I can buy a house. And okay, I can buy a house. And then once I buy a house, I can buy a nice car. Okay. And then once I do that, I can save the rest of my money in a bank account. Right? That's what they told you. That's a pretty assistant. But what they didn't tell you is that when you get to college, you're going to incur a ridiculous amount of debt for classes you don't even need. They got you in there. My wife's a dental hygienist. She paid like $10,000 for classes she didn't even need, include like history of art. She knows nothing about art, but they force you to take that so they can bill you. Now, when you go to a doctor's office or something like that, and they do an exam and they bill you on things that's not necessary, what happens to them? They get lawsuits, right? They get sued, but the schools force you to take classes you don't even need, classes that are irrelevant to you learning your skill. And if you don't do it correctly, what happens? You get in trouble, right? And so I'm just here to tell you that the same schemes they run are illegal if you and I do it, right? Like somebody mentioned the 2008 banking crisis and the housing crash. They were getting paid up front, loaning anybody money. They didn't care who you were because the money came out up front. What was done on the back end wasn't their business, the bank's business. The banks didn't care. They were selling those loans in the form of derivatives. A derivative is just a product of a product. Orange juice is a product of what? An orange. Okay, that's a derivative. Somebody said now modern slavery is manufacturing and corporations. Guys, give me a second. The sun's right in my face, so I'm gonna get into a better spot so I don't get blasted by the sun. But you're right. Somebody says modern slavery is Amazon, Walmart, and these big corporations. Absolutely, 100%, because you've been conditioned to up. Now they know that you're going to get a job, and they've trained you to buy houses and buy cars. Okay, you have the house and the car. How are you going to pay for it? Well, you got to go get this thing called a job. Again, I'm not against jobs. I'm against a job being your only source of income. Does that make sense? Because I get a lot of pushback on my channel because I'm saying stuff that people are like, what is this fool talking about? I had one person tell me, he was like, this is what people say when they get their degree from a cereal box. Hey, that's a compliment to me because I don't even have a degree. I'm not against college. I'm just against going to college when you don't have to. That's what I'm against. If you want to be a doctor, lawyer, surgeon, you need that training. Sure, go get it. Just try to go for free. Somebody said, I just watched a lady that got a master's and took loans to be a teacher, and she ended up as a TikToker. Whoa, making triple what she paid as a teacher, 60K. Oh my gosh. Think about that. Teachers stress out, but they're raising your kids. Oh, you thought you were raising your kids. These schools are raising your kids. Schools are dangerous. They're going to program your kids. I've already told my wife, look, by the time these kids learn to read and write, they need to be out of school. They can teach them that, but then we're pulling them. And we need to make them enough money to be able to do that, right? All schools aren't corrupted, but most of them are, just probably 90%. So again, if you're 100K, you're in financial trouble, and you got to figure out a way to get yourself in the best financial position possible. The danger is your entire lifestyle is based on your paycheck. I guarantee you, without even digging into your finances, I guarantee you this: your paycheck pays your rent or your mortgage. Your paycheck pays for your car. Your paycheck puts gas in your vehicle. Your paycheck buys your food, keeps your utilities on, keeps a roof over your head, buys clothes, right? Did I miss anything? Pays for your phone. Your paycheck is the governor of your entire life, financially speaking, meaning that you can't do anything outside of what your paycheck allows. Now, I'm not against paycheck. I'm only against paycheck being your only source of income. I think that's financial prison. I think you are teetering on the borderline of complete chaos, right? This economy is bad. I don't care what they're telling you. I know what they're going to tell you on the news. They're going to tell you the market's up. It's up for them, right? Because you've got to be out of your mind. You got to be some kind of crazy to invest in a market that's at an all-time high. Why would you do that? It's already at an all-time high. The only place it can go is down. So I would never touch a market that's at an all-time high. That's stupid. I'll wait until it crashes to invest. But they tell you, and I see the foolishness that I see on Instagram and on YouTube. Hey, you can invest $100 a month and get rich. Lies. They know that. They're lying to you. Hey, you can invest $500 a month and get rich. Lies. They're lying to you. Warren Buffett's 100 years old. He's been investing for 60 years. He wasn't all that rich at first. And in spite of, that, what are you going to do with $1 billion at 100? I'd rather make the money now and enjoy the money. That's just me. So I'll tell you guys, always do things quickly. People are telling you got time. You don't have time. Listen to me. That's the one thing you don't have. You don't have time. Go fast. Whatever you want to do and accomplish, go do it quickly. Don't be reckless, but go quickly. Hit thumbs up, guys, if this is making sense to you and if it's giving you any kind of value. That's the only way I know it's helping. If you have a question or comment, drop it. If you want to get into the Middleman CEO Masterclass training, that's coming up this Sunday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time in Texas. 45 minutes, I'll teach you how to start a business from your phone. That's all I do. 2020, I'll hit the like. We need this information. That's what I'm talking about. 2020, I started my business. I had no idea what I was going to do. My wife was holding us down. I was struggling financially, mentally. I was like, what in the world am I here to do? And somebody said, you have 100,000 hours to live. There you go. And you got to treat your time like currency. What are you buying during the day? The good Lord gave you 24 hours of currency each day. What are you doing? Okay, you spend 7 or 8 sleeping. Got you. All right. So what are you going to do with the other 16? Okay, you're gonna buy some football. Okay, so 3 hours of football. Now you down to what, 15, 14? What are you gonna do with that? I'm gonna watch some Desperate Wives of God knows where. Okay, now you down. What are you gonna do with that? Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. What are you doing with your extra time? Because people love to say, I don't have extra time. Yes, you do. You just don't have the mental capacity or the drive to go do something creative with your extra time. You got extra time. You're only required to work 6 or 7, 8 hours a day, sleep 8 hours a day. That's 16. So you have an extra 8 hours a day to buy things that are valuable. Sunday night, you can spend one of those hours with me. I'm gonna teach you what I do. In 2020, I made $77,000. That's it. I know these Instagrammers and these Facebookers and these YouTubers gonna lie to you, but I'm not that guy, because I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to deceive you. My friends know me. I'm not that guy. I have integrity, and I know you guys do. I made only $77,000, still in my Stripe account. It'll show me. That's how I know what I made. And year 2 made a little more. Year 3 made a little more. This year we're on pace to do $350,000 this year. Now, it's not $1 million. I wish it was. I hope you make $1 million. That's a great way to live. But still, $350,000 from home or from wherever I want to be lets me live the life I want to live. Because what does it do? It gives me freedom. 3 types of freedom I focus on. Number 1 is time freedom, the most valuable one. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. If you don't have time, you got nothing. Most valuable thing that you can have freedom-wise is time. Number 2, we want financial freedom, right? Financial freedom. Want that money to be right, looking good, where I don't have to sell all my time on a job and wear myself out, and then they turn me over when I'm 55, 65, 70 and tell me to go live the rest of my life. I'm beat up now. I helped make you rich for 40 years. I helped make your family rich, your grandkids rich for 40 years. And look what it did to me. It cost me everything. And now you send me home to just live until I die and barely get by. There won't be retirement for you. If you're under 60 right now, there won't be retirement for you. I don't care. They're lying. The economy, they don't have any money. The government's writing checks from an account that's negative $30 trillion. Did you hear what I said? The government is writing checks from an account that's negative $30 trillion. You and I can't write a check from an account that's negative $10 without getting in trouble. They write checks from negative $30 trillion accounts. Look at their balance sheets. Time is the most important thing. Use it wisely. Even more than money. I always say that. I could write you a check for $500,000 today and it'll cash and you could go to the bank. But the catch is, as soon as you cash it, you can't wake up tomorrow. Nobody's going to cash it. It could be $5 billion. Nobody's cashing it. Why? Because we know time is the most important thing. Nothing more important than time. So somebody said, I would like to learn your business and be free from a salary. That's it. Look, efforts and success, man. I appreciate it. Not long ago, I was homeless. I had just met my wife. She can tell you, I was completely homeless. I didn't know how to make money. I got fired from my job. I was working as a blackjack dealer at a casino in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Hollywood Casino, still probably there. I don't live there anymore, thank God. I live in Texas, but we have a point system, and I just was not good getting on time, and I pointed out. Some of you guys know about point system. I know they don't have them everywhere, but the casinos, they do. And so too many points, so now you got to wait like a year before you can reapply. What am I going to do? Had a little bit of money in savings, gone. Next thing you know, I was homeless, sleeping in my truck for 2 months. Third month, the police took the truck because I didn't have insurance. My lights weren't working on the truck. I had nothing. They took it, lost all my clothes that I had in my truck, ended up sleeping in public restrooms and in apartments that were being renovated. If you've been homeless, you know I know what I'm talking about. I had somebody comment on one of my videos. They were like, hey, I know you were homeless because I was homeless. And the only way you know what you just said is you got to be homeless. You doggone right. I was homeless, and it ain't fun. It ain't pretty. Worst part about it is I had children. Now, they weren't out there with me, but think of how you would feel as a parent. You're homeless. You can do nothing for your kids. That was the worst feeling. I was out there for 3 months, and then things had to change. My wife, I had just met her, and believe it or not, she was living in a different state, so she didn't really know. And we met online so we could communicate over the phone or whatever. But then the third month, I started making some money, finally, got me a place to stay in a terrible, terrible neighborhood. And my wife can tell you, she'll laugh at it now. She called it the jungle. And that's why I always tell you guys, look, money matters. Don't let them tell you that money does not matter. Money matters. If you don't think it matters for you, then think about your children. When I think about if you grew up poor in a bad neighborhood, who are your friends? Can you call any of your friends right now and ask them for $5,000 because you got in a jam? $10,000 because you want to invest in something? No. If I ask my friends for $500, I may never hear from them again. I had a friend not long ago, true story. We went to high school. I was homeless in high school. That was my first time in my senior years, first time being homeless. I ended up being homeless 3 times. I never want to do it again. But from high school and my senior year, and he borrowed, this is probably a couple years ago, and he borrowed like $400 from me. I'm like, yeah, no problem, man. I got you. Send the money over. I don't ask for money back. I don't loan it if I need it back, but I don't ask for it back. But he came out. This is just the way I operate. He came out and he was like, hey, buddy, look, man, I appreciate the money. I was in a bad spot. I was like, gotcha, man. Don't worry about it. He was like, I'm going to pay you back. I was like, okay, this is his word. I don't ask for it back. If I got to ask for the money back, I'm not loaning it. I'm not giving it to you if I got to ask for it back because it's going to cause a problem. I already know, so I'm just going to avoid the problem. Somebody said, only with people with money says money don't matter. You're 100% right, man. You gotta get to where your finances are correct. Somebody said I loaned a friend $500 and never paid me back, and it just creates issue. I'd rather have you as a friend and you mad at me because I didn't loan you the money than we have an issue where you don't pay me back, because now we got an integrity problem where you didn't keep your word. And I'm only going to go off what you say. So I didn't ask him for anything. My wife knows this. But he responded to me and said, hey, I'll pay you back. That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And I barely hear from him. It's affected our relationship. We barely talk. And it's not so much about, because my wife, she's very sweet. She's like, just forgive him. Don't worry about it. I was like, I don't have a problem with him. I have a problem with what he said. I have a problem with the words, the integrity. If you say you're going to do something, I expect you to do it. If there's an issue, I expect you to communicate with me and let me know. But in 2 years, you haven't tried to repay a dime, not a cent, then we really got an issue. Because my thing is, if you loan a person money, say you loan a person like somebody just put on here, like Pivot said 500. If you loan a person $500, let me tell you, this is just you don't have to agree with me. If you agree with me, smash that thumbs up, what I'm about to say. If you loan a person $500, that person has to make at least 3 times that to be comfortable paying you back. Meaning what? If you loan them $500, if they give you back the first 500 they get, they're back at zero. Now they have to borrow the 500 back from you again. Makes no sense. This person has to make, at least, in my opinion, 3 times that to feel comfortable paying you back. So they have to bring in $1,500 to say, okay, I'll give you your 500 back and I'll still have 1,000. If they bring in double that, just 1,000, now they give the 500 back to you. Now they're $500 away from another crisis. They're not going to do that. I just believe people have to get 3 times what they loaned you in order to pay you back comfortably. Other than that, it's going to be an issue. So if you agree with that, it's just my take. But if you agree with what I said, hit the thumbs up. Let me know. Let me know if you guys agree with what I just said. And so again, and I'm gonna get off here in just a second. So if you have a question or comment, drop it. If I see it, I'll get to it. And please let somebody else know about this channel if you don't mind. I'm trying to grow the channel. You guys have been excellent. And but I want to change people's lives. I have a goal to teach 50,000 people in the next 5 years how to start a business from their phone. Because if you're not rich now, you have a 5 to 10 year window to get rich. Listen to me. Hear me out. You have a 5 to 10 years to get rich. It's now or never. Reason I'm telling you this is because of all that's against you and your paycheck. Your paycheck is physically being assaulted every time it tries to make its way to the bank. The government is pounding it away, taking money out of it. They just passed a 1.2 trillion, not billion, trillion dollar bill to take care of themselves for only a few months. The government did. Now, I told you the government's bank account is negative 30 trillion. They just wrote a $1.2 trillion check to themselves like it's nothing. So what does that do? Well, that's $1.2 trillion in the economy, driving the price of everything up. You know why the interest rates are stuck? And the Fed keeps saying, I don't know if we're going to go up and down or up or down, because they can't. If they go down, they are going to reflood this economy with hot money, and you're going to have something. You think inflation is bad? Wait until you see hyperinflation is bad. Wait until you see hyperinflation. Somebody said, look, that's why I never give friends money. You're absolutely right. Hit that like button, guys. Let me know, because I know this is good content. This is a no fluff zone. And I'm going to give you the real deal. I'm trying to wake you up. You don't have to do it. I'm just telling you what I would do. Right? And a lot of you are in really good positions because you don't have families right now. You're not married. You're not in a house with the entire family like I am, and some of you are. And that's a lot of pressure. So get yourself ready so that when you do get that family, you are blessed with that spouse, they're going to be comfortable financially. It's a good feeling to go out with my family and we don't have to look at prices. Not that we're rich or anything like that, but it's a really good feeling to be financially free. It's a really good feeling, like my wife and I, God honest truth. And you guys watch my video, you know I'm not gonna lie to you. I have kids, I have a spouse. We're all about integrity. I just told you, me and a friend kind of lost, one of my best friends kind of lost contact, not because of the money. I don't really need the money. It was because I'm not gonna loan it if I need it. It was because of integrity. You told me you would do that. I didn't even ask for it. Your word said that, hey, I'm going to pay you back in a certain amount of time. Never did that. All right, well, now I don't believe anything you say because your character has been disrupted. And if you're willing to lie about that, you're probably willing to do whatever you have to do to get whatever you need. And so and another thing, I don't even know why I'm talking about this. Somebody said, appreciate your honesty. I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but here's one of my pet peeves. Other than you tell me something and you don't do it, that drives me nuts. If you say you're going to do something, I expect you to do it. Please don't just tell me something for the sake of saying it. I'm not going to do that to you. Just don't do it. It's tough enough, right? It's hard to have friends as it is, especially good friends. But if you're going to tell somebody you're going to do something, please do it. And if for whatever reason you felt like you could do it, but something's happening where you're not able to do it, then simply communicate with them. Oh, okay, I borrowed money from Justin, and I'm like, man, it's Friday. I got to pay Justin back. But all right, but I got this, and you know what, Justin? Hey, man, jump on the phone with me. Look, dude, I know today was the day I was supposed to get you back. I'm supposed to pay you back, and but listen, I don't have it all right now. I need a little bit more time. Just wanted to communicate with you and let you know where we are. But I do want to give you something to let you know I am going to be consistent. I am going to get that paid, right? Justin's like, hey, man, no problem, as long as you communicate with me. He's like, man, as long as you communicate with me. People don't communicate. That drives me nuts. Like, communicate. Let me know. Why am I sitting here guessing whether or not you're going to uphold your end of the agreement? Why do I have to figure that out? Now I'm stressed because our friendship's on the line. Just do what you say, right? Somebody said, how long do you think this will happen? Soon do you think this will happen? What exactly are you referring to? Because I covered a lot of things. So Ben, what exactly are you talking about? By the way, let people know I'm on. I'm surprised I'm on this long, but you guys are here and I just want to give you this value. It's Friday. Some of you that are watching this might not have a job Monday. The money crash. Oh, the money's already crashing. They're lying to you about the economy. If you weren't on early, I was talking about the pretty assistant. The pretty assistant is what they want you to look at the magic show. She's always pretty. She's always beautiful. She's barely dressed. They'll be naked before you know it. But the reason there's a pretty assistant is not so much that the magician needs help with the tricks. The magician can do a card trick with his hands. He can do other tricks and don't need help. The reason the pretty assistant is there is to distract you from what's going on. So if the pretty assistant is distracting you, oh my gosh, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous, her hair's a flamboyant color, that's all a distraction. So you can look there while the magician pulls off the real trick. I was watching this movie one time. So to answer your question, Ben, the crash is now. Look around you. The crash is now. The average person can't afford anything. $100,000 is borderline poverty today. It's now. You have to make $120,000 just to afford a decent home in America now. A good home, not a bad home, a good home that you enjoy and like coming home to. 120 or more. It's happening now. If it's 120 or more to get into a decent home in America, and 90% of America makes 60,000 or less, sound like a crash to me. So let me read the comments real quick before I bounce. But I was watching this movie called, you guys might know what it is. I'm looking at this Mercedes truck in front of me. My wife wanted this, and this is like 120, but she ended up getting a Tesla, so we'll see what happens. But I was watching this movie, and it was called, what's that magic show? It's got the 4 Horsemen, that magic movie they did, part 1. Now You See Me? I think it's called Now You See Me. And in the movie, they were asking, like, how did they rob a bank or something like this from here? How did they do that? And then the guy who never ages, Morgan Freeman, he said misdirection. It's so easy. Misdirection. Get them looking one way while you do the magic on the other side, the other way. So the trick was, now you see me, you're right. The trick was to get people focused on the pretty assistant, which was go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a degree, get a safe, secure job, buy a house, buy a car, put the rest into a savings account. Now let's break that down, right? Number one, the degree is probably going to be irrelevant in 5 to 10 years. That was the first pretty assistant. And it does not guarantee you a high paying salary. In fact, degrees are costing you money today because companies don't want to pay you what it's worth. So they won't hire you. It's costing you jobs. So that was the first pretty assistant. The second pretty assistant, buy a house and the college debt, worst debt you can have. Do you remember when Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead? He had been dead 3 days. Student loan debt is so bad that if Lazarus had died with student loan debt, when he got up 3 days later after officially being declared dead, the debt would have revived and been ripe. It would have been ready again for him. You can't even die yourself out of student loan debt. Unforgivable. That should tell you it's bad. Second thing, they told you to go to college. That was the first thing, pretty assistant, while they rob you. Most of you don't even know what a debt to income ratio is. Never heard of it. I didn't either. Nobody taught me this, right? But try to buy a house and find out. And so what happened is, that was the first pretty assistant. Go to school, go to college. I'm not saying college is a bad thing. For some people, it's a good thing, and you need it if you need additional training. You don't want a brain surgeon who didn't go to college. But for most people, it's irrelevant. But it's a money scam, right? Second thing is they told you to go off and get a job. All right, that's the second pretty assistant. Oh, I need a job. It'll let me do all these nice things. Well, it's also going to buy the most precious thing that you have in this world, your time, and it's going to take it all. And then they're going to retire you. Oh, work till you're 65 or 70. 75. Yeah, just stay working. Make us rich, and we'll suck the life out of you with this thing called a paycheck, and you'll be in the slave factory. I mean, this job environment, for 40 years. That was the second. Then the third one was, hey, how are you going to retire? We're not retiring you. Oh, we got this cool thing called 401k. Yeah, you can actually contribute money in. We'll match it or not match it, and we'll send it into the stock market, make everybody there rich, and you'll just have to wait to see 40 years from now how it works out for you. What? That's the third pretty assistant. Fourth pretty assistant. Now that you got a good job, go ahead and buy a house. Okay. How are you going to pay for this house? With my paycheck. Okay. Watch this. Because the house is the pretty assistant. Right? Watch this. Okay, I'm going to buy the house with my paycheck. Cool. Gotcha. How long is that mortgage? 30 years. You said 30. Yeah, okay. So you're going to pay for this house with your paycheck, and the house payments are 30 years. That's what you're saying, right? Okay. So do you make money any other way besides a paycheck? No. So what you're telling me is you're willing to pay for this house for 30 years with a paycheck, which means you must have a job for the next 30 years. Yep. Ouch. Did you know the word mortgage is a French word, death pledge? Now you know why they changed it to mortgage. Would you buy a 30-year death pledge? Look it up. Look it up. I wish I had a bigger audience because I know this would bless people. Look it up. Let me look at the comments real quick. And that wasn't even the last pretty assistant. The last one, and there's more than that, but the last one is after you buy the house, you buy the car, then you put your money into a savings account. What do the banks do? Thank you. Well, why would you put your money into a savings account? It makes no money. I had a guy comment on one of my videos. He said, man, you're wrong about saving money, because I'm a big believer in don't save money. I don't mean don't have zero in your account. I just mean that shouldn't be your focus. Every time you make extra money, don't save it. You should have an opportunity account where you look to make money with the money. I know rich people. You guys have probably come across rich people. How many rich people have you ever heard talk about saving money? Ever? I never have in my life heard a rich person talk about saving money. Never. I only hear the poor and the middle class talk about saving money. You know why? Because the rich know that the way to freedom is to live off of passive income from an asset that generates cash flow. Whereas the poor and the middle class believe that I should be able to trade my time for money for the rest of my life, live off this paycheck that everybody has invaded, and then eventually I get what's left, pay my bills, try to save what's left. If there's anything left, then the bank takes that, makes themselves rich, while I wake up, look at my app, say, oh, I got $1,500 in it. I feel okay today. Dead money. So this guy commented, he was like, hey, you're wrong about savings. I saved up $500,000. What? Yeah, I guess he thought he was being smart. So you're telling me that you have $500,000 worth of dead money in an account. It ain't even there, but let's just say it is. You have $500,000 of dead money in a bank account. That money could be used to make you a millionaire, but you've been programmed so well by the Matrix that they taught you to save your money while the banks get rich. If banks saved money like you save money, the bank would be out of business. The banks teach you to save money, and the banks don't even save money. Rules have changed. I'll read the comments, guys, before I leave, because I know you guys dropping some fire. Let somebody know about the channel. Hit subscribe. Make sure a thumbs up. Somebody said you can never expect how people's psychology is until you know them for years. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Most of the time, they're going to come to you in times of need. But boy, when you need them, That phone ain't gonna ring. Don't I know? I told my brother the other day, because out of my entire family, there's probably 3 of us who have over $500,000. And that ain't even a lot of money. And that's just me and my 2 brothers. That's it. There ain't no money. My mom's in her mid-60s. We still pay her bills because she didn't take care of herself when she had the opportunity to. Now, it's too late for her to go back and get a career. That's why I always tell you guys, you don't have time. You don't have time. Said, all right. So he said it when he told us they are writing checks from a $3 trillion debt. You already know. You can't write a check from $100 negative account. You're going to get in trouble. The government writes a check from a $30 trillion. But that, I'm glad you said that, because that's the last pretty assistant I want to talk to you about. The government is able to write check. You're able to write a check. If you write a check from a negative account, you're going to get NSF fees and you're going to get frowned upon from your bank, because the bank's going to say you don't have any money. The government's going to write a check from a negative $30 trillion account, and nobody's going to say you don't have any money. The government's going to say, oh, you're right. Because the Fed's going to say, how are you going to pay me back? Because they borrowed the money from the Fed. I don't want to get into all that. The Fed's going to say, all right, I'll let you write this 1.2 trillion, but how are you going to get, because the Fed pretty much governs the money supply. How are you going to pay me back? And the bank's going to say, that's a good question. 1.2 trillion, I'm negative. How do I pay you back? Oh, I got it. Pivot is going to work. He got a job. AJ's got a job. Ketro's got a job. Everybody, Ben's got a job. Sean's got a job. Lucy, Mary, everybody's got a job. So what does that mean? That means I can pay you back, because we programmed them to go get jobs by the millions. And so when they get this thing called a paycheck, here's what we're going to do. Current Tax Payment Act 1943 lets me, the government, stick my hand in the paycheck before they do. Wait, you're going to pre-tax them? Yeah, we don't trust them to pay their taxes on time. We're going to invade their checks before they get paid. In fact, when they get paid, I get paid. Right? And so the government is able to write their checks, their bad checks, from a bad bank account, because they know you're going to work. And they're going to let you pay back the loan. You thought the government was going to pay back the loan? The government is like Tommy from Martin. They ain't got no damn job. Bad grammar, good teaching. They ain't got no job. The government doesn't have a job. They don't need it, because you do. So why not think the way they do? The banks don't save money, but you do. Why not think the way they do? All right, let's see. Hit thumbs up, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Free gems, appreciate that. That's right, you never know who they are. Right, 100% correct, appreciate that. But again, guys, they've pulled off one of the greatest tricks ever in history. Programmed you to get a job, didn't teach you any other way to make money outside of that job, taught you that you needed college and all this extra school to be able to get the best job. Then you found out in 2020, no job is safe. You found out in 2020, you took a pay cut. Oh, I know what you're thinking, but Sean, I still make $50,000 a year. I know, because you're looking at the quantity. You're looking at the number on your paycheck. You're not looking at the buying power, are you? You're not looking at the quality of your paycheck. Your paycheck says $50,000. All right, $50,000 in 2020 was a good living. $50,000 because of inflation in 2024, equivalent to $30,000. See, you forgot the buying power. See, when inflation happened, you started getting paid less. Your money went down. Your salary went down. Sure, the number stayed the same, but the buying power decreased. Rents that were $1,000 for a good apartment 4 years ago, same rent, $2,000. See, I told you, your buying power dipped. You weren't paying attention, were you? You're looking at that pretty assistant. You got to keep your eyes on the magician. The rich people watch the magicians. They don't teach their kids to go to college. There's nothing wrong with it. And if my kids want to go to college, I'll support that as long as they need college for that. But the rich and the wealthy teach their kids to start businesses so they can hire your kids. Right? The rich The rich don't focus on saving money. It's the poor and the middle class who do. The rich focus on using money to make more money. The poor and the middle class have these accounts called emergency accounts, rainy day accounts. First of all, I wouldn't manifest any of that. You know, in order for that account to be successful, you got to have an emergency. You know, in order for your rainy day account to be successful, you got to have a rainy day. No, thank you. I'm good. I have an opportunity account where I park money into it and I look for opportunity. Where can I put this money to make more money? That's what the rich do. They live off cash flow from an asset, while the poor and the middle class live off income from a paycheck. Did you know the worst way that you can make money is a paycheck? And not that a job is a bad thing. I'm not telling you that. In fact, when I teach you how to start a business from your phone, in the Middleman free training that's going to be this Sunday night on Easter. I don't know when you're watching this, but it's going to be Sunday night, Easter, 7 p.m. Texas time, for about 45 minutes. I'm going to show you what I've been doing for the past 4 years. Changed my life. I don't have to have a job. I don't care who's hiring. I don't know. I don't want to know. But, and if you want to get that, put Middleman under any of the videos that I release on this channel. Just write the word Middleman. You'll get a link. If you don't get a link, then we've cut it off and you were too late. But put the word Middleman. I want to be able to put it on here, but I don't know how to put it. So I'm new to all this. And so I'm not sure why it's not letting me put it on the live. I don't know. But you'll get the free Zoom invite. Be there 45 minutes. I'll try to change your life. I'm just going to teach you what I do. Book, deposit, and dispatch. I book, deposit, dispatch. That's all I do. Black Mac, I appreciate it. For everybody that wants the invite, I'll tell you again, for some reason, I don't know how to comment under here. So every time I hit comment, it's not letting me add anything to the chat. So I can't put the invite on here. But as soon as this video goes off, you can put Middleman back in the comments or put Middleman under any of the other videos that I recently put out, and then you'll get an invite. If you don't, then I don't have any more openings. And we were crowded last night. I had too many people. We had to stop because I like to do Q&A and walk everybody through it, because it's only about 45 minutes. And so a lot of people missed it. So I agreed to do it one more night, which is this Sunday night. So after you have fun for Easter, come learn how to change your life. But again, they're not going to teach you how to start a business. They're not going to teach you how to be financially free. The window is closing. AI is working against you. 20 million people crossing the border illegally in the over the last 4 years. That's not coincidence. These people are the new labor slaves. They're willing to work for less. They don't require insurance. There are big companies being busted already. You guys know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. If you believe I'm telling the truth, smash that thumbs up. Let me know right now. I want to know who believes I have integrity. So you know I'm telling the truth, right? So people on the other side of the world who's willing to work for less are competing for your job. AI and systems and technology and programs competing for your job. Kids coming out of college that are weighed down by debt. They don't even have a job and they're negative 100 grand. How are you supposed to survive that? The government is willing to give your child an 18-year-old $100,000 to go to school, but won't give them $10,000 to start a business. Think about that. I hope YouTube doesn't take this video down. I hope I don't get canceled for this. But I'm giving y'all the truth. I'm glad you're on this live just in case they pulled this video. I hope they don't, because people need it. But we know how the matrix is, right? The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. The reason I say 5-10 years, that's your only shot to get rich, is because the window's closing based on things I just mentioned to you. So inflation is killing your dollar, crushing your buying power, closing that window for you to get rich. Because you're going to think, work harder, sell more hours. And I'm going to say you're going to work yourself to death, literally. People die Monday mornings trying to get to work. They hate their jobs. They hate where they are. They have heart attacks and strokes. Do the research. Not living in fulfillment, not living in purpose. And you know it, and you just keep getting up and tolerating this. Putting the same input, getting the same output, saying, well, I'll try it again next year, see what happens. It's the same thing. You got to change the input to change the output. Come on, it's reprogramming. It's your time. If you're on this video, you're not here by accident. This is divine intervention. And I do not shy away from saying that. Because what I'm me, hey, what are you saying in the bank account? I'm saving such and such. So how much? I was talking on your middleman business, on what do you want to do and what you want to do. And he was like, man, yeah, but whenever I get no, he's a speaker. I'm sorry, and he's a good friend of mine. He's a public speaker, and he said, yeah, man, I'm still working on it a little bit. I know that's my purpose. I know that's my goal. He said, but when I finish work, I'll go drive one of those gig jobs like Instacart or something, delivering food. And I was like, what do you do with the money when you get paid from the extra job? He said, I just put it into the bank account. I say, there you go. You're saving money you don't even need. You're working to donate money to the bank so they can get rich. I said, look, stick with your first job if it's enough to cover your bills. If you agree, guys, let me know with the thumbs up. I said, stick with your first job if it's enough to cover your bills. Good. Now you don't need extra money. You got a couple thousand in the bank, brother, that's all you need. Now, instead of selling that time for money you don't need to give to the bank to make them rich while you stay broke, here's what you do. Use that time you used to sell, those 6 or 7 hours you would sell to Instacart. Forget that money, you don't even need it. Use that time to work on your business and your speaking and start booking jobs. And I said, look, a year from now, your life will never be the same if you do this. But if you continue to sell time for money, you'll never have the time and the energy to work on your purpose. And you'll never get out of this situation. You'll repeat this every year till you go nuts. And that's fact. So somebody said, let's see, use technology to our advantage. Be careful about social media. 100%. People out here have no integrity. They will tell you whatever you want to hear. I'm not going to do that. I want you to be successful. I want you to succeed. I'm not going to tell you whatever you want to hear. I'm probably going to tell you something that's going to piss you off, make you feel a certain way, make you look at me funny, right? Whatever. I'm just here to tell you the truth. And then I'll put the information in your hands and you can do whatever you want to do after that. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to have a middleman business from home, sit on the beach, sit on the lake, sit on the pool, do whatever you want to do and still make money. You don't have to do that. You can trade every hour of the day for money. You can do that. But that's not a wealthy way of thinking. The wealthy way of thinking is I'm going to trade money for time. I'm going to create a business or an investment that makes me money so I don't have to go to work. And I'm going to live off that cash flow. You fire me from my job? Don't care, man. I got cash flow. So real quick, I'll read through this before I bounce. The more you know, the harder it gets. Absolutely. And the squatters, right? Oh, gosh, don't get me started on that. Minority is the majority. Iron sharpens iron, brother. What's my name? Shon-Jhon. So first name Shon, and my middle name is John, so I just go by Shon-Jhon. And follow me, guys, on Instagram at Middleman CEO. I'm always trying to give good game. I got to get off here because I got to go do my workout. But see, I was only supposed to be on here for like 15 minutes. I've been on here over an hour because I don't have to go to work. Now, there's nothing wrong with work, and I don't tell my students quit their jobs until their business makes enough money to fire your boss. I'd rather you fire your boss than they fire you, because they will fire you. You're not an asset to the company. You're a liability. You're on the bottom line. You affect their revenue. So if they can find someone or something that can do the job for less than you, adios. So here's what I'm going to do for you guys. Because this video is about to end, and I appreciate everybody for jumping on. Hit subscribe, hit thumbs up, tell somebody about the channel. Coming up this Sunday night on Easter, 7 p.m. Central Time here in Texas, I want you to spend about 45 minutes with me. That's all I'm asking. And I'm going to teach you what I've been doing since 2020. I told you I was financially struggling in 2020. My wife was holding it down. She'll still tell you today. She was like, I was holding it down. I didn't know what he was going to do. My wife was like, hey, we need to go find you a job. And I was like, man, I know, but let me in. It got so real that I was this close to walking into the bedroom and telling my wife, hey, I think you might have married the wrong person. It was that serious. And I get emotional just thinking about it, because I had no idea how I was going to take care of my family. I see her go somewhere else, be with somebody else who could take care of them and give them a good life, than to be with me and struggle. I did not want that for them. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm trying. Let's see if something happens. And by the grace of God, something happened. Somebody reached out and said, hey, I know someone who needs to move. Do you know anybody? And I said, yes, I know a couple people. Got that person's information. and I'm gonna let you go after this. It's a true story. Got that person's information, and I said, yeah, I got a friend who'd probably give you a good rate. Let me reach out to him. I reached out to Courtney. If you Google right now, you'll see Home Court Movers in Dallas, Texas. He's still in business. A good friend of mine. I reached out to Courtney. I said, Courtney, just text him. I said, hey, I got a customer who want to get moved on this day at this time. Can you help her? Refer from a friend. He was like, yeah, send me the info. Sent the info. Courtney took the job. He texted me back. He said, man, I made $800 off that job. I was like, holy cow. Then he said this, changed my life forever. He said, how much do I owe you? This is 2020. While your boy had no idea how he was going to make money. This close to broke. With the family. Broke by yourself is one thing. Broke when you're responsible for other people, you don't want to feel that. And I said, what do you mean? He said, what do I owe you for sending me the lead? And I was like, you don't owe me anything. He was like, I got to give you something. So I said, fine, man, buy my wife and I lunch. I said, my wife's like Applebee's. We'll just go to Applebee's. She likes the cookie with the cookie thing. Is it Applebee's? I think it is. Applebee's or Chili's. I think it might be Chili's. It's got the cookie with the ice cream. She likes that. I said, just buy us lunch. He was like, okay, bet. He cashed out. I thought he was going to cash out like $50, $25. He cashed out $50. So $50 in my account. This is how this started. This is why I'm so excited and I'm so blessed. Don't think a day goes by while I'm not thankful for where I am. I was almost working at Walmart as a greeter or in a restaurant. I was going to do what I had to do. And I still will. If I always tell people, look, if I lost everything, you and me going to be fighting over that job at McDonald's because I'm going to work. And so what happened is he sent the $50 cash out. That was my first payment. And we went out, had a good time. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking while my wife and I are sitting there talking. And I was like, yeah, I was like, Courtney sent this because she know we don't have any extra money. I had already told her, I said, sweetheart, let me know when we get less than $3,000 in the account. And she looked at me like, that's when I knew we were in trouble. And we were living in a house. We had house payments and everything. And I was depressed. And so he sent that and she was like, did you make extra money? I said, I just sent Courtney a job and he just sent this back just to say thanks. And we were sitting there. I was like, wait a minute. That's pretty cool. I said, that really, now that I think about it, it's the same thing Uber does. They like connect people and get paid. Tinder connects people and get paid. Instacart connects people and get paid. Lyft, Airbnb. I said, wait a minute. These companies are all doing the same thing that I just did. It's the blueprint. So I call it the blueprint. And I said, wait a minute. Let me go home and see if I could do this again. And so I went home and I started working on it. I started promoting my business. I got a cool name, Jumpin' Jack Movers, jumped out there. Hey, we're a moving company. You need a quote, hit us up. And people started responding. Hey, I need a quote for moving. Okay. So here I am. I'm getting customers' information. I'm booking. And then I'm like, hey, at the end, I need to take a deposit so I can get paid. Sure. What's the deposit? My deposits were $50 to start with. No joke. Now I teach my students to average about $150. So I have students that do $250 per deposit. I have students that do $100 or $125 per deposit. For a 5-minute phone call or for a 5-minute text exchange or email, that ain't bad. And so I did it. I was getting $50 deposits. And I told my wife, I was like, hey, look, we made $150 today. Might be onto something. Bam. She was like, well, go see what happens. I was like, all right, I'm going to commit the rest of the year to this. Hit the gas on it. Started promoting, started connecting with other people. Work, yeah, call this. Let me see if I can get $100. They're paying $100. Came home when she could say, I said, babe, I high-fived at the door. Because she had been holding it down. I high-fived her at the door and I said, babe, I made $1,200 today. She was like, get out of here. I was like, yes, I made $1,200 booking deposits. And we celebrated. We still didn't have enough money to go do anything big, but I think we went to like Chick-fil-A or something like that. Chick-fil-A is expensive. They're a little bougie now. So, but we went out, we had a little decent meal and I kept doing it. So at the end of that year, I had my Stripe account. I had all that set up. Stripe tracks your payments. Most of them do. Stripe tracks your payments for the year. That's how I knew what I made. So at the end of the year, $77,000. My wife was still making $100 as a dental hygienist. And I was like, all right, 77,000, not bad, because I was at zero not long ago. And 77,000, I was thankful, appreciated it. I was like, I'm gonna hit the gas even more now that I know a little more and I got a team. Let me push it. Next year, 125. Not bad. Still not rich, but making money from home is the game. And so fast forward to this year. Now we're on pace this year, and I'll share it with you. We're on pace to do $350,000 this year. Not bad. Still not a million. I told you, you don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to make $1 million a year. You just got to make enough money to pay your bills without having to go to work. Then you get to live the life you want. I told you, it's not about money. It's about time. Time is the most important thing. If your bills are $2,000 a month and your business makes $5,000 a month, you don't have to go to work. You're not rich. You're only making 60 grand a year, but they got to trade 40 hours a week to get that 60 grand. You don't. You might work on your business an hour a day. They're going to spend what, $3,000 3,000 hours a year on that job, burning out, getting beat down. You're probably going to work 150 hours in a year or less, about 100, 2 hours. If you do an hour a day, probably a couple hundred, I would say. But still, you rather work $3,000 a year to make 60 grand, or would you rather work 200 hours a year to make the same 60 grand? You do the math, right? One's freedom, one is not. And so that's how I started. And so this year, we're on pace to do 350. I feel like we're going to hit that number before we even get to the end of the year. And I'm thankful. I'm already claiming that. I speak what I want. That's why I don't have what do you call it? An emergency account. I'm not speaking emergencies into my life. I don't have a rainy day account. I ain't manifesting that. I got an opportunity account. I'm manifesting opportunity. Your vocabulary matters. Right? Right? Through an abundance of word, the heart speaks. We're not claiming things we don't want over here. Right? We're not doing that. We understand life happens, but we ain't out here calling for it. We ain't gonna summon it. And so I know better. But again, that's what I did. And so my gift back to you guys for Resurrection Sunday, and I know everybody's gonna call it Easter, but for me, I call it Resurrection Sunday. Coming up for this Easter Sunday night, I don't know when you guys are watching this, but Sunday night, I'm going to be, if you give me 45 minutes, that's all I'm going to take, 7 p.m. Central Time, because a lot of people are messing up the times. Central Time, 7 p.m. Get there early, or you're not going to get into there. Somebody said, amen, God's got you. I appreciate it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you what I did. 3 steps. That's it. It ain't 4, it ain't 5. I'm going to teach you how to book customers, take a deposit where you get paid, and then dispatch the work to someone else and let them do the hard part. You could do it from your phone. You could do it from home. You could do it from your neighbor's house. You could do it from the beach. You could do it from anywhere. As long as you have your phone and a signal, you are in business. And then shortly after that, I'll teach you how to hire a VA so you don't even have to do that anymore. The VA takes over the business. Now you're hands-free like I am. I just hired my VA in January. I've been doing it this whole time by myself. That's how I learned. But I hired my VA in January. I'm hands off. That's why I'm on here with you. I don't have to answer phones. All I have to do is check my account and once a week meet up with my VA to answer any questions or go over any issues she might be having. And she makes me money and we're good. I pay her good. She makes me money. Most importantly, I'm free to do whatever I want. I even thought about fishing today. So, because I love to fish, I love to play golf. But again, you don't have to be rich. I'm not promising you'll be rich. I'm not promising you that you'll be a millionaire. I hope that you become that. There's nothing wrong with that. But my real goal is to get you free from having to trade your life for a paycheck. If you are under 100 grand a year, you need to be in this masterclass. You need to be in this live training, because if you make 100 or less, you are not safe. You are not safe. There are people out there crossing the border who's coming after your job right now. And if your job is your only source of income, you are not safe. When they fire you, I want you to be able to say, hey, look, I appreciate the opportunity. Don't feel bad for me. I've been working on my own business on the side. In fact, I was expecting you to fire me. That's why I've been taking care of myself and getting prepared. That's why I'm the 10%. I'm ready. I'm prepared. The 90% unprepared, in their comfort zones. You want to find people that's struggling? Find somebody who's working hard. They're struggling. The harder you work, the poorer you get. Find somebody who's in their comfort zone. The more comfortable you are, the poorer you get. I was poor when I was comfortable. Hey man, I'm good. I just need enough to get by. Guess what life gave me? Enough to get by. You don't want that, right? So be in the live training. Put Middleman in the comments. I'm about to end this video. For everybody who wants the invite, put Middleman under any of my videos, any of the recent videos, and you're going to get a link. If you do not get a link, that means that we are full. I'm only letting a certain amount of people in. I have my reasons for that, because there was chaos last time and a lot of people didn't get in, and I had too many Q&A and it was nuts. It went long. So, and I respect time. It's my favorite thing to protect. So put Middleman and under any of my videos. For all you guys that put it here, put it under any of my videos. You're going to get the link. Be there. Please be there early. I'm coming on at 7 o'clock. You need to be there before that. Get there early. Tell somebody else about it. Invite everybody you know. Say, hey, this guy on YouTube is about to teach us how to start a business from our phone, so one day we can fire our job before they fire us, and so that we can make money without having to trade our time and our lives, and so that we can one day live the lives that we want to live and stop having to live the life that we have to live. Is that fair? All right, you guys be there. I'll teach you what I know, and I promise it'll bless you. See you guys on that live training. For everyone else, go back to your comfort zone. Go back to trading your life for money. It's going to be a hard times coming for you. All I can say is good luck. Peace, guys.